For days, we have watched Hudson push and prod Jocelyn to take over the top executive spot at the company previously run by Jax. On the surface, it seemed like a standard corporate transition, but a hush-hush rumor suggests that Hudson is absolutely not acting on his own accord. We are hearing that Hudson is secretly contacting a very powerful, very dangerous boss who is pulling his strings from the shadows. Hi, chances are, Hudson is nothing more than a glorified errand boy for a major villain from the show's past. The streets are talking, guys, and they are saying that Hudson's relentless push to get Jocelyn into that executive chair is part of a much darker, far more sinister plot to completely dismantle the legacy Jax built from the ground up. It seems like the writers are setting up a massive eavesdropping scenario. According to the unconfirmed leak, Carly is going to find herself in the right place at exactly the wrong time. We all know Carly has a sixth sense when it comes to her children being in danger, and she has never trusted Hudson's slick demeanor. The rumor is that Carly will be lurking in the shadows and will overhear Hudson making a clandestine phone call to his mysterious employer. During this call, Hudson will allegedly reveal his true intentions, confirming that he is actively working to trap Jocelyn. Can you imagine the absolute terror and fury running through Carly's veins when she realizes this corporate suit is actually a predator circling her daughter? So, who was on the other end of that phone call? What if the person pulling Hudson's strings is none other than the ruthless mob queen herself, Selena? The truth might be way more complicated than a simple business acquisition. Selena has a long, bloody history of trying to legitimize her illicit empire, and taking over a massive, clean corporate entity like the one Jax built would be the ultimate prize. High chances are, Selena has been plotting this takeover for months, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. She knows she cannot just walk in and take the company by force. She needs someone on the inside, someone with the legal authority to sign away the kingdom. And that someone is Jocelyn? The behind-the-scenes whisper indicates that Selena's master plan is brilliantly wicked. It seems like the entire reason Hudson is in town is to manipulate Jocelyn into accepting the top executive position. Why? Because once Jocelyn is legally sitting in the big chair, she has the power to authorize the sale of the company's shares. High chances are, Selena and Hudson plan to corner Jocelyn the moment she takes the job, using extortion, threats, or worse to force her to sell the company's stock at a rock-bottom price. They want to bleed the company dry and take legal ownership for pennies on the dollar, effectively stealing Jocelyn's inheritance right out from under her nose. But what about Jax? We have been told repeatedly that he is off on some grand sailing adventure, completely unreachable and blissfully unaware of the chaos back home. The truth might be way more complicated than a simple vacation. What if Jax never actually went on a sailing trip? What if Selena orchestrated his disappearance to clear the path for her hostile takeover? A hush-hush rumor is floating around that Jax is actually being held captive by Selena's syndicate. By removing Jax from the board, Selena created a power vacuum, forcing the company to turn to the young, inexperienced Jocelyn. It is a classic mob tactic: eliminate the strong leader and prey on the vulnerable successor. Once Carly overhears Hudson's incriminating phone call, we are looking at a drastic storyline shift. Carly is not the type to sit back and wait for the hammer to fall. The unconfirmed leaks suggest that Carly will immediately sprint to Jocelyn, completely bypassing any normal boundaries, to deliver a frantic warning. Carly will lay out everything she heard, exposing Hudson as a dangerous fraud and Selena as the mastermind. She will beg Jocelyn to realize the extreme danger she is in. But instead of telling Jocelyn to run away and hide, Carly will propose a bold, incredibly dangerous counterattack. Carly will tell Jocelyn that the only way to beat them is to play their game better than they do. It seems like Carly will advise Jocelyn that she must accept the top executive position immediately. If Jocelyn runs, Hudson and Selena will just find another way to steal the company, or worse, they might retaliate with physical violence. By taking the job, Jocelyn can step into the belly of the beast, gaining access to the company's internal files, security protocols, and Hudson's daily movements. Jocelyn will agree to the plan, transforming overnight from a reluctant heiress into a corporate spy. High chances are, Jocelyn will put on her best poker face, march into that office, and shake Hudson's hand, all while secretly plotting his absolute destruction. However, Carly knows that taking on Selena requires far more firepower than she and Jocelyn can muster alone. This is not just boardroom politics, this is mob warfare. The behind-the-scenes whisper reveals that Carly will swallow her pride and arrange a highly secretive, off-the-books meeting with Sunny. Despite all their recent history and personal friction, Carly knows that Sunny is the only person in town with the resources, the muscle, and the sheer ruthlessness required to go head-to-head with Selena. Carly will lay out the entire conspiracy to Sunny, explaining that Selena is using Hudson to steal Jax's legacy and put Jocelyn directly in the crosshairs of a mob takeover. Sonny's reaction is going to be explosive. High chances are Sonny has been waiting for an excuse to eliminate his former business associate once and for all. Selena has been a thorn in Sonny's side for years, constantly testing his boundaries and threatening his territory. Hearing that she is now targeting Jocelyn will be the absolute last straw. What if Sonny decides that this is the perfect opportunity to wipe Selena off the map entirely? The truth might be way more complicated than just saving a company. This is about Sonny reasserting his absolute dominance over the local underworld. He will agree to secretly support Jocelyn's corporate Trojan horse strategy, providing her with invisible protection and surveillance. With Sonny on board, the drastic storyline shift kicks into high gear. It seems like Sonny will deploy his best men to shadow Hudson every single second of the day. Every phone call Hudson makes, every email he sends, and every meeting he attends will be monitored by Sonny's network. Meanwhile, Jocelyn will play the role of the naive, overwhelmed young executive perfectly, lulling Hudson into a false sense of security. Hudson will think he is manipulating a clueless girl, completely unaware that he is actually walking straight into a meticulously crafted trap designed by the most dangerous mob boss in the city. But the stakes are even higher than just the company's shares. The hush-hush rumor indicates that the ultimate goal of this secret alliance between Carly, Sonny, and Jocelyn is to uncover the truth about Jax's disappearance. High chances are they will use Hudson as a pawn to trace communications back to Selena's hidden stronghold. They need to find out exactly where Selena is holding Jax captive before she decides he is no longer useful and eliminates him permanently. This rescue mission will have to be executed with absolute precision, because one wrong move could result in Selena executing Jax out of spite. What if Jocelyn is forced to sign the transfer papers to buy time? The truth might be way more complicated when Hudson finally makes his move and demands the shares. Jocelyn might have to stall, playing a terrifying game of chicken while Sonny's enforcers close in on Selena's location. We are looking at a climax where corporate espionage collides violently with mob justice. Sonny is not just going to arrest Selena, he wants to permanently remove her from the board. The unconfirmed leak teases a massive, violent showdown where Sonny finally settles the score with Selena, while Carly and Jocelyn desperately try to pull Jax from the wreckage of this conspiracy. As the pieces fall into place, the entire landscape of the town is going to change. If Jocelyn successfully navigates this deadly corporate minefield, she will emerge harder, colder, and far more dangerous than anyone ever expected. She is learning the art of war directly from Carly and Sonny, a terrifying combination of corporate ruthlessness and mob strategy. It seems like Hudson has absolutely no idea what kind of fire he is playing with. He thinks he is the predator, but high chances are he is just a lamb being led to the slaughter by a family that destroys anyone who threatens their own. But before you celebrate this epic team-up, let me leave you with this chilling reality. If you think Selena is going to go down without a massive, bloody fight, you are deeply mistaken. She always has a contingency plan, and when cornered, a wounded animal is the most dangerous kind. Keep your eyes wide open, guys, because someone we love might just get caught in the crossfire when this entire secret operation inevitably explodes.